When it comes to belly fat, we've been told the same story for decades. Eat less, move more, count your calories, and somehow the fat will just melt away. Yet, despite all the effort, most people end up frustrated, hungry, and right back where they started. The truth is, belly fat isn't just about calories. It's about hormones, especially insulin. When insulin levels stay high, your body is locked in fat storage mode, no matter how clean you eat or how much you exercise. The key isn't to eat less, but to eat differently, to give your body a real chance to burn the fat it's already holding. Because fat isn't just sitting there, it's stored energy waiting to be used once you unlock the signal that allows your body to tap into it. This isn't about magic pills or extreme workouts. It's about understanding the simple biological rhythm your body already follows and learning how to work with it instead of against it. For decades, people have been taught that belly fat is the simple result of consuming too many calories. The logic was straightforward. Eat less, move more, and the fat should melt away. But despite following this advice, countless individuals find themselves stuck, hungry, and unable to lose that stubborn fat around the waist. The missing link isn't effort or willpower. It's understanding how the body actually stores and burns fat. The real driver behind belly fat isn't calories. It's insulin. Insulin is a hormone that regulates how your body stores energy. Every time you eat, especially foods high in carbohydrates, your insulin levels rise to help shuttle glucose into your cells for energy. But when insulin levels stay high all the time due to frequent meals, snacks, or processed foods, the body receives a constant signal to store fat and never release it. Essentially, your fat cells become locked, unable to release their stored energy. This is why many people can eat fewer calories yet still not lose belly fat, because their hormones, not their calorie count, are controlling the process. When insulin is elevated, your body prioritizes storing energy instead of burning it. Think of insulin as a switch. When it's on, fat storage is active. When it's off, fat burning can finally occur. Modern eating habits keep that switch turned on almost constantly. Breakfast at 8 a.m., a snack at 10, lunch at noon, an afternoon coffee with sugar, dinner at 7, and perhaps something sweet before bed. This pattern means insulin rarely gets a chance to drop. The result is a body that's excellent at storing fat, but terrible at burning it. Even if total calories are controlled, the hormonal environment still favors fat gain, especially around the belly, where insulin sensitivity is often lowest. Belly fat isn't just a cosmetic issue. It's a reflection of metabolic imbalance. High insulin levels promote the accumulation of visceral fat, the dangerous type that surrounds your organs and increases inflammation. This kind of fat is hormonally active, producing compounds that further worsen insulin resistance, creating a vicious cycle. As insulin resistance grows, your pancreas compensates by producing even more insulin, further driving fat storage. That's why some people find that despite cutting calories or exercising more, their waistline hardly changes. Until insulin levels are brought down, the body remains in a locked state of energy storage. The key to melting belly fat begins with restoring insulin sensitivity. That means reducing the constant spikes in insulin by controlling what and when you eat. The body doesn't need to be fed constantly. In fact, giving it breaks between meals allows insulin to fall and fat-burning hormones like glucagon and growth hormone to rise. When insulin drops, your body finally gains access to stored fat for energy. This is why some people notice rapid fat loss when they start spacing their meals apart or cutting back on refined carbohydrates. They're not just eating less, they're changing their hormonal signals. Refined carbohydrates, especially sugars, white flour, and processed snacks, are the biggest culprits in keeping insulin elevated. These foods are quickly broken down into glucose, spiking blood sugar and prompting a surge of insulin. Over time, constant exposure dulls your body's response, leading to insulin resistance. Replacing these foods with whole, unprocessed meals rich in natural fats, fiber, and protein helps stabilize blood sugar and lower insulin levels. Healthy fats, such as those from olive oil, avocados, and nuts do not trigger insulin spikes, allowing your body to stay in a fat-burning state longer after eating. Exercise helps, but only when combined with proper dietary control. Physical activity improves insulin sensitivity, But if diet continues to promote high insulin through constant carb intake or snacking, the effects remain limited. The body must receive a consistent signal that it's time to burn, not store, energy. This is why many people who work out intensely still struggle with belly fat. They're exercising in a high insulin environment. Understanding insulin changes the entire perspective on fat loss. It's not just about discipline or counting calories. It's about creating conditions where your body is hormonally primed to burn fat instead of storing it. Once you reduce insulin levels through smart eating patterns, your body naturally shifts from being a sugar burner to a fat burner, and the stubborn belly fat that seemed impossible to lose finally starts to melt away. When you stop eating, something remarkable begins to happen inside your body. Instead of running out of energy or going into starvation mode, as many believe, your body switches fuel sources. This transition is the foundation of natural fat burning. During fasting periods, when you go several hours without food, your insulin levels begin to drop. As insulin falls, the body unlocks stored fat, allowing it to be burned for energy. This process isn't extreme or unnatural. It's how humans were designed to survive when food wasn't constantly available. Our ancestors didn't have snacks every few hours. Their bodies naturally shifted between storing and burning energy, depending on the time between meals. This cycle is what modern eating habits have disrupted, leading to stubborn fat that refuses to budge no matter how much you exercise or how few calories you eat. When insulin remains low for a sustained period, another key hormone called glucagon rises. Glucagon does the opposite of insulin. It signals the body to release stored energy. The liver begins converting fat into ketones, a powerful and efficient fuel source for the brain and body. This is when real fat burning occurs. Instead of relying on glucose from food, the body starts burning fat from within. The more often you allow this switch to happen, the more efficient your metabolism becomes at tapping into stored energy. The beauty of fasting is that it doesn't force your body. It simply removes a constant signal to store fat. Modern diets filled with processed carbs and frequent eating prevent this natural fat-burning switch from ever turning on. Each snack or sugary drink spikes insulin and halts fat breakdown. Even small amounts of calories from constant grazing can interrupt the fasting state. That's why shortening your eating window or allowing longer gaps between meals can produce noticeable results in belly fat reduction. It's not about eating less overall, but about giving your body the time and hormonal environment it needs to do what it's meant to do. As fasting continues, the body becomes more metabolically flexible, meaning it can move easily between burning sugar and fat. People often notice increased mental clarity, steady energy levels, and reduce hunger once their bodies adapt to this new rhythm. This happens because your energy isn't tied to constant food intake anymore. Instead, your body accesses the vast stores of fat you already have, providing a steady stream of fuel without the crashes that come from sugar highs and lows. For many, this shift is a turning point in their health journey, when they finally stop feeling controlled by food and start letting their biology work for them. The process also goes deeper than fat loss. Fasting periods trigger autophagy, a cellular cleansing mechanism where old and damaged cells are broken down and recycled. This helps your body repair itself on a cellular level, improving energy production, reducing inflammation, and optimizing hormone function. Lower insulin levels also mean lower levels of chronic inflammation, which is closely linked to belly fat storage and metabolic disease. As inflammation subsides, the body becomes more efficient at mobilizing stored fat and maintaining healthy insulin sensitivity. The misconception that fasting slows metabolism is one of the biggest barriers preventing people from trying it. In reality, short-term fasting boosts metabolism through increased production of norepinephrine, a hormone that stimulates fat breakdown. Studies show that intermittent fasting preserves muscle mass better than traditional calorie restriction because it promotes growth hormone secretion, which protects lean tissue and encourages fat utilization. Instead of breaking the body down, fasting strengthens it. When done correctly, it trains your metabolism to become stronger and more efficient. What truly matters during fasting isn't deprivation, but rhythm. It's about finding a pattern that allows your insulin to fall long enough for your body to switch into fat-burning mode. Whether that's skipping breakfast, adopting an intermittent fasting schedule like 16-8, or simply stopping late-night eating. The goal is to create consistent periods where the body is free to burn fat instead of store it. Fasting is not punishment. It's restoration, a way to return to the natural metabolic cycles that modern lifestyles have disrupted. Once this rhythm is restored, the body begins to change from the inside out, not because it's forced to, but because it finally has the freedom to do what it was designed for. One of the biggest obstacles to losing belly fat is the modern habit of constant snacking and consuming processed carbohydrates. These foods keep your body in a perpetual state of fat storage. Every time you eat, insulin rises to help your body process the incoming energy. But when you're eating processed carbs, white bread, pastries, cereals, sugary drinks, and packaged snacks, insulin spikes even higher and stays elevated for longer. Over time, this constant stimulation prevents insulin levels from dropping, locking your fat stores, and making it nearly impossible for your body to switch into fat-burning mode. The more frequently you eat these foods, the more your metabolism becomes dependent on glucose for energy and the less capable it is of burning stored fat. Most people aren't even aware of how often they're raising their insulin levels throughout the day. A breakfast of toast or cereal, a mid-morning coffee with sugar, a sandwich for lunch, a snack in the afternoon, dinner with bread or rice, and something sweet afterward. All adds up. The body never gets a break. In this constant fed state, fat-burning hormones like glucagon and growth hormone remain suppressed. Your body becomes excellent at storing fat and terrible at releasing it. This is why belly fat tends to accumulate even in people who believe they're eating healthy foods but still rely on frequent meals and processed carbohydrates. It's not a lack of effort. It's a hormonal trap. Processed carbohydrates not only spike insulin, but also create a roller coaster of blood sugar highs and crashes. After a carb-heavy meal, blood sugar rises rapidly, giving you a short burst of energy. Insulin quickly follows to bring that sugar down, often overshooting the mark and leaving you tired, irritable, and craving more carbs. This is the cycle that keeps people eating every few hours, believing they need energy or fuel, when in reality, their bodies are simply responding to hormonal instability. Over time, this pattern leads to insulin resistance, where cells stop responding properly to insulin, forcing the pancreas to produce even more of it. The result is a body that's stuck in fat storage mode and increasingly resistant to burning its own energy reserves. Breaking this cycle starts with removing the constant influx of processed foods and replacing them with whole, nutrient-dense options. When you eat real food, protein, fiber, and natural fats, the insulin response is lower and more balanced. The body feels satisfied for longer periods, and cravings begin to fade. By spacing out meals and avoiding constant snacking, insulin levels have time to fall between eating, giving your body the chance to tap into stored fat for energy. It's not about cutting calories to starvation levels. It's about removing the foods and habits that keep your metabolism trapped in a fat storage state. The problem with processed carbs goes beyond just the insulin spikes. They are stripped of fiber and nutrients, leaving your body with quick energy but no lasting satiety. Fiber from whole foods like vegetables, legumes, and seeds slows digestion and helps stabilize blood sugar, preventing those sudden crashes that trigger hunger. Healthy fats such as olive oil, avocados, and nuts provide a steady source of energy without triggering large insulin responses. When these foods become the foundation of your diet, the constant hunger and cravings disappear naturally because your energy level stays stable throughout the day. The habit of snacking is another major issue. Many people have been taught that eating small, frequent meals keeps metabolism high, but the opposite is true. Each time you eat, insulin rises, even if the snack is small. This means your body never gets the extended period it needs to enter fat-burning mode. By reducing eating frequency, 3 balanced meals a day, or even 2 for some people, you allow insulin to drop for several hours, giving your body permission to burn fat for energy. Once your metabolism adapts to this rhythm, you find that you no longer need to eat constantly, and your belly fat begins to shrink without extreme diets or excessive exercise. The solution is surprisingly simple. Stop feeding your body every few hours with processed insulin-spiking foods. Give it time to access the energy it already has stored. Once you replace refined carbohydrates with real whole foods and cut back on unnecessary snacking, your hormones begin to normalize. Hunger stabilizes and fat burning becomes a natural, effortless process. Your metabolism no longer depends on constant external fuel, but instead learns to rely on the most abundant source of energy you already possess, your own body fat. The type of food you eat has a powerful influence on your hormones, metabolism, and ability to burn fat. While most diets focus on calories, the real secret lies in the quality of the foods and how they affect insulin and other metabolic hormones. When you eat high-quality fats and whole, unprocessed foods, your body begins to reset its internal balance. These foods don't trigger large insulin spikes, meaning your body can stay in a fat-burning state for longer periods. On the other hand, processed carbohydrates and refined oils disrupt this balance, leading to more fat storage and hormonal instability. The goal isn't to eat less. It's to eat smarter, choosing foods that naturally keep your insulin low and your metabolism stable. Healthy fats play a crucial role in this process. For years, fat was wrongly blamed for causing weight gain. But now we understand that natural fats are essential for hormone production, energy, and satiety. When you eat good fats like those found in olive oil, avocados, fatty fish, nuts, and seeds, your body receives a slow, steady source of fuel that doesn't cause insulin to spike. This allows your energy to remain stable throughout the day, reducing hunger and cravings. Unlike carbohydrates, fats do not stimulate insulin significantly, meaning your body can continue burning stored fat for energy even after meals. By including these fats in your diet, you help train your metabolism to use fat as a preferred source of energy instead of constantly relying on sugar. Whole, unprocessed foods complement this effect by providing the body with essential nutrients and fiber. Foods in their natural state, vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, legumes, and whole grains, contain a balance of nutrients that support healthy digestion and stable blood sugar. Fiber in particular slows the absorption of carbohydrates, preventing sharp insulin spikes and promoting longer-lasting fullness. When your meals are rich in fiber and healthy fats, your hunger naturally decreases, making it easier to reduce overall food intake without feeling deprived. This is why people who eat real whole foods often find that their appetite becomes self-regulating because the body's hormonal signals, leptin and ghrelin, begin to work properly again. Protein also plays a major role in maintaining metabolic health. High-quality protein sources such as eggs, chicken, fish, and legumes help build and repair tissues, but they also increase the feeling of fullness and reduce cravings. When combined with healthy fats, protein helps stabilize blood sugar and prevent overeating. More importantly, protein supports lean muscle mass, which boosts your resting metabolism. The more muscle you maintain, the more efficiently your body burns fat even at rest. It's not about eating excessive protein, but ensuring each meal contains enough to sustain your body's repair and energy needs. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to lose belly fat is following restrictive low-fat diets or relying on packaged diet foods. These products are often filled with sugars, refined grains, and artificial ingredients that spike insulin and lead to more fat gain. The absence of real fats in these foods leaves people feeling hungry soon after eating, which leads to more frequent snacking and overeating. Instead of avoiding fat, the focus should be on avoiding fake foods, anything highly processed, fried in seed oils, or loaded with added sugars. Real food nourishes, stabilizes, and balances hormones. Fake food disrupts, inflames, and stores fat. Another benefit of whole foods and healthy fats is their anti-inflammatory effect. Chronic inflammation is one of the silent drivers of weight gain and metabolic dysfunction. Processed foods, sugar, and refined oils increase inflammation in the body, making fat loss harder and insulin resistance worse. In contrast, natural fats like extra virgin olive oil, omega-3 fatty acids from fish, and antioxidants from colorful vegetables help lower inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and restore metabolic health. When inflammation decreases, the body can respond more effectively to its hormonal signals, making it easier to burn fat naturally. The reset that comes from eating whole foods and healthy fats isn't just physical, it's hormonal. When you nourish your body properly, insulin stabilizes, cortisol decreases, leptin begins to function properly again, and your natural hunger cues return to balance. The shift doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, your body gradually learns to operate in a fat-burning mode rather than a fat-storing one. You stop feeling controlled by hunger or sugar cravings because your energy comes within, Fueled by the foods that support your metabolism instead of sabotaging it. Belly fat isn't just about food and hormones. It's also deeply influenced by lifestyle factors like sleep, stress, and hydration. These elements are often overlooked, but they play a direct role in how the body manages energy and stores fat. When sleep is poor or stress levels are high, the body's hormonal balance shifts dramatically, leading to increased insulin resistance, cravings, and fat accumulation, especially around the midsection. Even with a clean diet and exercise routine, neglecting these key factors can stall fat loss because the body perceives stress as a signal to hold on to energy reserves. The connection between sleep, stress, and fat loss is a biological one driven by how the body regulates hormones like cortisol, ghrelin, leptin, and insulin. Sleep is a foundation of hormonal recovery. During deep sleep, the body repairs tissues, balances blood sugar, and resets appetite-controlling hormones. When you don't get enough sleep, typically less than 7 hours per night, cortisol levels rise and insulin sensitivity drops. This means your body becomes less efficient at handling glucose, and more of it ends up being stored as fat. At the same time, the hormones that regulate hunger become disrupted. Ghrelin, which stimulates appetite, increases while leptin, which signals fullness, decreases. As a result, you feel hungrier, crave high-calorie foods, and find it harder to stop eating even when you've had enough. This is why people who are sleep-deprived often find themselves reaching for sugary snacks or processed comfort foods. They're not just tired. Their hormones are actively pushing them toward quick energy sources. Chronic stress has a similar impact on belly fat. When the body is under constant stress, it produces high levels of cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Cortisol's job is to ensure you have enough energy to deal with threats, which in ancient times was useful for survival. But in modern life, where stress often comes from mental or emotional pressure rather than physical danger, this constant cortisol release becomes harmful. Elevated cortisol increases appetite and drives fat storage, particularly in the abdominal region where fat cells have more cortisol receptors. This is why even people who eat well and exercise can struggle with stubborn belly fat if their stress levels remain high. The body interprets stress as a sign of uncertainty and prepares by holding on to energy in the form of fat. Managing stress doesn't mean eliminating it completely, but rather teaching the body to respond differently. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, spending time outdoors, and maintaining social connections all help reduce cortisol and rebalance hormones. Even regular physical activity, when done in moderation, helps lower stress levels by improving endorphin release and enhancing insulin sensitivity. However, excessive or high-intensity exercise done under chronic stress can have the opposite effect, further elevating cortisol. The key is balance, combining movement with adequate rest and recovery, so the body stays in a fat-burning state rather than a stress response mode. Hydration is another often underestimated factor in fat metabolism. Water plays a crucial role in every metabolic process, including the breakdown and transport of fat. When you're dehydrated, metabolism slows down, and the body struggles to efficiently convert fat into usable energy. Dehydration also raises cortisol levels, which further contributes to fat storage. Additionally, thirst is often mistaken for hunger, leading to unnecessary eating when the body simply needs fluids. Drinking enough water throughout the day helps regulate appetite, supports digestion, and keeps energy levels stable. Adding a pinch of natural salt or electrolytes to water can also help maintain balance, especially during fasting or exercise when minerals are lost. Quality sleep, stress control, and proper hydration work together to create the internal environment your body needs to burn fat efficiently. When sleep is consistent, cortisol remains balanced and insulin sensitivity improves. When stress is managed, your appetite and cravings become more stable. When hydration is adequate, your metabolism runs smoothly and fat is mobilized more easily for energy. These lifestyle factors reinforce the hormonal signals that promote fat loss and prevent your body from reverting to storage mode. The truth is, you can't out-diet or out-exercise chronic stress, poor sleep, or dehydration, because these factors directly influence the same hormones that control fat storage. Once you begin to prioritize recovery, relaxation, and hydration, your metabolism begins to align with your efforts, and belly fat starts to reduce naturally as your hormones find balance again. True fat loss isn't about short-term fixes or extreme diets. It's about creating harmony between your eating patterns and your body's natural biological rhythm. The human body is designed to operate on cycles of eating and fasting, activity and rest. When these rhythms fall out of balance, metabolism slows, hormones become disrupted, and fat begins to accumulate, particularly around the belly. The modern lifestyle of constant eating, irregular sleep, and high stress has thrown this natural timing off course. To melt belly fat and restore metabolic health, it's essential to realign with the body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm that governs digestion, hormone release, and energy use throughout the day. Your body is not designed to digest food all the time. Insulin sensitivity follows a natural rhythm. It's higher in the morning and lower at night. This means your body handles food, especially carbohydrates, more efficiently earlier in the day. When people eat late at night, insulin remains elevated for longer, preventing fat burning during sleep and promoting fat storage instead. Aligning your meals with daylight hours allows insulin levels to drop overnight, triggering the release of stored fat for energy. Eating within a consistent window, such as an 8-hour or 10-hour period, helps synchronize metabolism with your body's natural hormonal cycles, making fat loss easier and more sustainable. This concept of time-restricted eating is powerful because it mirrors how humans evolved. For thousands of years, food wasn't available 24/7. People ate when it was accessible, often during daylight hours, and fasted naturally through the night. This rhythm allowed the body to alternate between storing and burning energy efficiently. In contrast, today's habits, snacking late, eating breakfast immediately upon waking, and consuming multiple small meals, keep insulin elevated from morning until bedtime. This constant eating window gives the body no opportunity to burn stored fat. By shortening the eating period and extending the fasting phase, you create daily cycles of fat burning that happen naturally without needing extreme calorie restriction. When your eating patterns align with your biological rhythm, other hormones also begin to balance. Growth hormone, which aids in fat burning and muscle repair, peaks during deep sleep, but only if insulin levels are low. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, works inversely with insulin. Eating too close to bedtime interferes with both sleep quality and fat metabolism. Cortisol, the body's wake-up hormone, helps mobilize energy in the morning, but chronic late-night eating confuses this cycle, leading to sluggish mornings and nighttime cravings. Restoring these natural hormonal rhythms doesn't require complicated schedules. It just means eating during daylight, fasting through the night, and allowing your body to rest when it's meant to. Another benefit of aligning your eating patterns with your body's rhythm is improved digestion and energy stability. When meals are consistent and properly spaced, the digestive system has time to process food completely before the next meal begins. This improves nutrient absorption, reduces bloating, and stabilizes blood sugar. When digestion is efficient, inflammation decreases and the gut microbiome thrives, both of which are key to reducing belly fat. A healthy gut communicates effectively with metabolic and hormonal systems, promoting better insulin sensitivity and appetite control. Consistency is the hidden secret behind all successful fat loss. The body thrives on predictable rhythms. When you eat at roughly the same times each day, sleep at consistent hours, and give yourself regular fasting periods, your metabolism adapts. Hormones like insulin, cortisol, and leptin begin to follow predictable patterns, making it easier to burn fat and maintain energy. Skipping meals randomly or constantly changing eating windows confuses these hormonal signals and makes it harder to achieve lasting results. The body rewards routine with balance, and balance leads to sustained fat loss. Living in alignment with your natural rhythm also improves mental and emotional well-being. When you eat and sleep according to your body's internal clock, energy levels become stable, mood improves, and cravings diminish. You stop feeling like you're fighting your own body because you're finally working with it. Fat loss becomes effortless when the body is no longer under metabolic stress. It's not about forcing results, but allowing them to happen by restoring the body's innate timing mechanisms. When meals, sleep, and fasting all move in harmony, fat burning is no longer a struggle. It becomes your body's default state, the way it was always meant to function.